Bait and Tackle Outdoor Show. Heard exclusively on the voice of Muscatine, AM 860 KWPC. Now you can call Jerry with any questions, comments, concerns, complaints, or just to find out where the fish are biting. The phone number is 563-263-8600. Jer, let's start the show.
All right. You know, it's a beautiful morning, but according to the AccuWeather KWPC weather rain stick dartboard combination thingy there, don't sound too promising for the weekend, does it?
Well, we got one of those high-tech thermometers, barometers, rain gauges outside. It's a piece of rope hanging on the front porch there, and it works wonderful. I mean, when it's wet, it's raining out.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you can't see it, it's foggy.
It's foggy, yep. And if it's not foggy and you don't see it, somebody ran off with it.
There you go. And then you got the big seed bell hanging on the bottom of it. Yep. Well, I tell you what, the waters, if you haven't looked out your window lately, the waters are up everywhere, and that's just the way it goes, living in Iowa and living on the river systems like we do. When we get it up north, it comes down to us, and it stays. But luckily, the cedar goes down as quick as it comes up, so that's pretty good news there. So on an unrelated note, you're on Jerry's Bait and Tackle Outdoor Show this morning. I tell you, Dave, this morning, Kathy said, well, you know, you need to take Luke to College for Kids. And so, yeah, okay, no problem. I'll take him. So he hops in the truck, and we stopped by Casey's. We were supposed to go to McDonald's and get some, but he didn't want McDonald's, so we stopped by Casey's. And in my mind, it was College for the Kids. Well, where do you think College for the Kids would be at? You'd think it'd be out at the college.
Right.
Well, I started cruising down that way, and of course, all the streets are all, it looks like Muscatine's at the demilitarized zone with all the construction going on. So I was like, man, how am I going to get over there to the college? He goes, why are we going to the college? I said, well, you got to go College for Kids. He goes, no, it's over at West School. What? Oh, gosh. So I took off over that, and then Cedar Street over there, that's all jacked up. But we got him there, and he enjoys it. It's a pretty neat program. He's taking Understanding Nuclear Physics 101. But let's talk about Fishing 101. As you've noticed, and I've talked about, all the rivers are up. Randy Brewer, we talked a little bit this morning. I said, well, you want to get on the radio, Randy? He goes, well, there really ain't much to talk about. He goes, we got high water there unless we can figure out a way to get rid of this water. I'm going to tell you what. I've had some guys in the shop. It wasn't a slow week in the shop. Guys are taking advantage of the rivers being up, and they're going out and they're fishing these flooded areas. I tell you what, Lonnie Ford came over, and he showed me a nice 18-inch walleye that he caught. He has a campground or cabins kind of next to the Cedar River there, and he's got a little quarry there that has a couple inlet tubes that feed his quarry. And he was just picking up. They were hanging right there. He had a nice striper. He had a nice walleye, the 18-inch walleye, and he had a bunch of other fish that he just caught right off that inlet tube because they're taking advantage of that situation. On the other hand, I also had Jason Lewis out there from Wilton. He's been going down to Salisbury Chicken Creek, even though it's flooded, and he has put, I would probably say, at least a good 20 large sturgeon on Facebook. I've shared his photo, and I shared Lonnie's photo on Jerry's Bait and Tackle Outdoor Show. And so just because the water is up doesn't mean you can't catch fish. You just have to change your strategy a little bit, start fishing these flooded areas, because them catfish are going to be out there sucking bait up off the banks and whatever else is washed in there. Another thing that you don't want to miss is the creeks. The creeks are up. When the creeks are up, them catfish will swim up them creeks, and they will swim a long distance up there. I've caught some pretty sizable cats right there in Wilton back behind Jerrydale Park, which is a long way from the Cedar, but once that's up, that's like a big highway there. So let's get on to your fishing reports around the rest of the area and see how they're faring out.
The one thing I want to add in there, that if you are going to go fishing out in the flooded waters, by all means, be careful. There's a lot of junk that's been stirred up by the floodwaters.
Right, and I guess I should have prefaced that by these aren't guys taking boats out. and fishing in the flooded water. They're fishing off the banks or new flooded areas. Yeah, by all means. A lot of times you're not going to be able to get a bank in or a boat in because most all the boat ramps are shut down.
Yeah.
And if you do manage to get a boat in, be careful. Know what you're doing out there. Like Dave was saying, I stood out there on the banks of the Cedar, and there are some sizable trees coming down, and they're moving at a pretty good clip. But like I said, these guys that I was talking about that were fishing, they were fishing along the shore, and most of that's going to be your only access to a lot of these places. But there is fish there. So anyway, let's get on with it. Big Hollow Lake down there. 3+ inches of rain last weekend has clouded up the lake. It's also dropping from being 6 to 8 inches higher than normal last Monday. Just a few anglers have been out on the lake, and they haven't been catching and having much success. Coralville Reservoir, the lake level is rising and is at 692. As of 6:26, is predicted to crest at 701. Normal pool is 783, so almost 20 foot higher than it normally is. With that, catfish have been slow. Some fish are being caught drifting cut bait in the main channel. Some are being caught on live bait along the rock banks. Crappie, some nice 10 to 14 inch fish are being caught on the rock banks or on deeper brush on jigs. Diamond Lake up there, they don't get the flooding up there, but remember, there's no minnows up there. Crappie are fair. Most of the crappies have spawned and are returning to deeper water. Try around submerged brush piles to drift the basin for suspended crappies. Bluegill are rated good up there at Diamond Lake. Small jigs and worms have been working real good around brush and rock. Channel catfish have also been biting pretty good at Diamond Lake. Chicken livers and stink bait are working the best. Iowa Lake, bluegill are rated around fair. There again, use a small jig and worm. Catfish are rated as fair, and crappie are a little slow up there at Iowa Lake. They are being caught shallow, and some are being caught drifting the main lake basin. The Iowa River. Now, this is one of the rivers I'm talking about. The river is past flood stage and is still climbing. It is forecast to get back down below flood stage towards the end of next week, and that's pretty much what everything around here is looking like, unless we get all this rain we're talking about this weekend. Primarily, if we get a lot of rain here, it has to be a pretty heavy soaker to bring our local rivers up, because what we get goes down to Keokuk. What we have to be worried about on the Cedar and the Mississippi is what they get in Minnesota and what they get in Waterloo, because what they get there comes down to us. Kent Park Lake. I never really talked about this one, but since a lot of your fishing holes are inaccessible, bluegill up there, Kent Park Lake. This is up by Tiffin. Let me say that one more time. Tiffin. Anyway, up there.
Reminds me of that Who song. Why don't y'all just
fade away? But anyway, Kent Park Lake, that's up by Tiffin. It's a nice sized man-made lake. I've fished there a number of times. Bluegill are fair. Good numbers of fish are being caught around the rock and wood. Lake Belvedere. This lake missed the heavier rains last weekend, so conditions are pretty good at Lake Belvedere. Bluegill are good. Still work the shallows. You might be able to even find some in active nests. I would start to look for deeper weed beds to find some fish up there at Lake Belvedere. Largemouth bass are good at Belvedere. Work the flooded timber, and don't forget about the mounds on the upper end of the lake. Channel catfish are rated good at Lake Belvedere. Try cut bait or chicken livers around the rocks. Lake Geode. The lake is muddy after this last weekend's rains. Very little angler activity has happened up there. Hopefully we can miss this weekend's rain and the lake can get a chance to clear up. Lake McBride, bluegill, fair, fish around shallow rock. Channel catfish are biting up at Lake McBride. Fish around jetties and other rock for spawning catfish. Walleye still seem to be biting, but they're going to be early in the day or they're going to be late in the day. During the day, they're going to be holding it 8 to 13 feet of water. White bass are fair. They're looking for the schooling new shad out there in the open water. Lake Odessa, here we go. Still flooded with all the water coming down the Mississippi from northeast Iowa and Minnesota, and don't expect it to change within the next week. Lake Saguma, please remember to take your trash with you at your favorite fishing spot. I didn't mean to put that one in there, and I didn't take it out. Hey, we'll go to the next one.
Good advice anyway.
Good advice anyway. But Lake Sagua, largemouth bass are good. Target shorelines with submerged structure or rock. Try topwater lures along the weed line. Use rubber worms or crawdad imitations in deeper water. Bluegill are fair. Try using a small piece of Nightcrawler. Target the weed lines and open pockets with vegetation. Walleye at Lake Seduma are a little slow. Try areas with rock shorelines using minnows and jigs, crankbaits, and also tried same areas up there along the dam. Crappie are rated as slow. The crappies have spawned and now are out in a little bit of deeper water. Try using a slip bobber and a minnow to find where the crappie are suspended. Other than that, that's what we got going on. I've talked to my good buddy Kurt from the Muscatine County Conservation Board. What's going on out there is they're flooded. Chicken Creek area is flooded, but even though that it's flooded, once the floodwaters do recede, they have to clean it up, and there's going to be a lot of mud there. And after they get it cleaned up, they're going to seal coat the road. So if you're planning a camping trip for 4th of July weekend, Chicken Creek will be closed. There will not be any camping out there, regardless of if it's flooded or not, because they just spent a lot of money out there, and they need to get them roads sealed down. So other than that, that's what's going on. Like I said, make sure you get out there, hit them rivers, hit them creeks that come off the river. They're going to hold a lot of catfish. Or try these other lakes that you don't normally get a chance to go out there and fish. You know, here it is. We're almost into July, folks. Today's June 27th. Literally less than 6 months to go till Christmas.
Yeah. It's hard to believe half a year's gone already.
Yeah, half the year's gone already. Just that quickly. But anyway, so is our time. So we got to slide into a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
The place where he was born and raised.
Sounds like a place to fish or biting down at the bottoms. This is Randy Brewer from the Outback Bait and Tackle Shop. When you're ready to go fishing, to hit the river and local fishing holes, come and see me. I've been fishing our local areas for over 40 years. I'll be able to set you up with the right bait and tackle for our fishing holes in the area. I'll even throw in some of my experience fishing advice. So before you head out to your fishing hole, come see me at the RB's Outback Bait and Tackle, located 16114 County Road X61 here in Muscatine. Call me at 563-506-0490. Sign says 9 to 5. Call anytime after. We'll get your bait.
Bluegrass Automotive in Bluegrass, Iowa has a problem. They have Adventureland tickets that need a home. Please take the following steps. 1. Get in your car and drive to Bluegrass Automotive, 801 North Oak Lane. 2. Exit your vehicle. Walk inside and sign up to win. 3. Say hi to Carl and Nick and tell them you think they are fantastic.
All right, maybe that was a bit much. Win free Adventureland tickets from Bluegrass Automotive. Get there before July 1st and get ready to win. Bluegrass Automotive in Bluegrass, Iowa. Who's going to Adventureland? Maybe it'll be you.
You save big money, you save big money when you shop Menards.
Check out the hot deals and all of your home improvement needs. Now during Menards Summer Sale. Save big on paint, stain, building supplies, lawn and garden, plus much more. Build your dream deck or other outdoor project with AC2 pressure-treated lumber or naturally resistant red cedar. Both offer natural beauty and weather resistance. The perfect choice for decks, fences, and other outdoor projects. At Menards, you'll find America's largest selection of outdoor lumber. On sale now in over 200 stock sizes. Choose from pressure-treated or red cedar and boards, lumber, and timbers, perfect for your outdoor projects. Stop in today and take advantage of this great chance to save big on outdoor lumber, plus much more during Menards Summer Sale. And while you're shopping, register for your chance to win a Chevy Equinox.
Save big money at Menards.
Let the Sicilian Pizzeria of Wilton treat your family to dinner tonight. Their dough is made fresh every day with only the freshest ingredients, so you're guaranteed to taste the difference. Offering classic specialty pizzas like Sammy the Bull, the Palermo, the Gladiator, the German, the Viagra, and many more. Try one of their killer subs, calzones, or pasta dishes if you're looking for something different. Make sure you start your meal off with one of their mouth-watering appetizers, Asiago tomatoes, cheesy garlic bread, or their famous seafood bruschetta. Call the Sicilian Pizzeria in Wilton for pickup or delivery today. 563-732-9396. Open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m.
This is Havana, Montana for the Jerry's Outdoor Show. You know what you need to go on and done and do? Keep listening, man. And maybe you'll catch a big albino blue marlin, too.
They're gonna put me in the movies.
That's right, baby.
They're gonna make a big star out of me.
Did you catch me dancing on Facebook there?
I had to keep from gouging my eyes out.
Oh, you must have been on the wrong thing.
I think I might have. This guy was big and fat, and oh my, I don't even want to go into it.
Yeah, you must have been on the wrong.
Yeah.
Did it start with .xxx or?
No, it didn't. It was right there on Facebook.
It was.
Yeah.
The guy was big and fat, huh?
Yeah. Whipped his shirt off, and
oh no, that
Touch of Grey was playing in the background. He was jamming out to that
Touch of
thing.
Grey, there we
Fat
go.
rolls were just going to town. Everything.
There we go. Hey, you're on Jerry's Bait and Tackle Outdoor Show on KWPC 860 AM. Hey, remember, you can call us anytime if you got any questions or any comments or you just got something you want to say. Feel free to call in at any time on the show. What we're going to talk about now, you haven't really noticed this in the shop, but I am Randy and a couple other bait owners have tried to keep our prices down on Nightcrawlers. What you don't know behind the scenes here is that we get our Nightcrawlers in bulk and we box them up ourselves, and then we sell them to you. For the last month, the prices have almost doubled on what it costs us to get Nightcrawlers. And like me and the other guys, we try to keep our price down. We don't want to have to fluctuate it, but it's getting to the point that we do have to increase our price a little bit just to cover it. And what's going on right now for you guys that don't know out there, there is actually a Nightcrawler shortage. And I sell a lot of Nightcrawlers. So with us on the phone is one of my main bait suppliers, Melissa Klein from Klein's Corners up there in Rock Rapids, Iowa. Do we got you on the phone, Melissa?
Yep, I'm here.
How you doing, my dear?
I am wonderful. How about yourself?
Well, other than we got all this excess water laying around.
I know, we do too.
Are you guys still up? I mean, you guys got hit pretty hard up there.
Yeah, a lot of people lost houses. Almost everybody got water in their basement, either from the rain, the sewer backup, or the flood. But there was one part of town that pretty much a lot of houses are being condemned or considered a total loss because they had about 9 feet of water in them. It filled their basement and then a couple feet in their first floor. So that's our biggest thing. Our river's down, but people are living in the churches and the school and the activity center and campers, stuff like that. So it's more just trying to clean up and get everything back to normal now.
Right. Now, that's, besides the heavy rains, you guys also had a dam burst or something like that.
Actually, there was 2 of them.
Man.
Up in Pipestone, Minnesota, that was where the first one went, and then that put a lot of pressure on the next dam, which is in Laverne, Minnesota, and then that one went, and so then all that water came rushing to us.
Wow.
And so the water level came up very quickly. It started flooding on Sunday, and then, it stayed up until that next Thursday or Friday, I believe, and then it started going back down.
Right, and that isn't usually a normal scenario.
No,
for you guys.
I've lived here since I was in like the 3rd grade, and we've had we had a flood in '93, which came up. Everybody thought that was the worst one. This one was way worse than that one.
Yeah, I mean we're not strangers to flooding down here by no means, but every once in a while we will get one that kind of sets us back for a loop. So what's flooding here, that's kind of normal. I mean, where we're situated at between the Cedar and the Mississippi, everybody's pretty much prepared for it. And like I said, 93, 2008, every once in a while you'll get one that'll sneak in the back door on you and get a little bit higher than normal. But anyway, what we want to talk to you about is Nightcrawlers. What's going on with the Nightcrawlers?
Nightcrawlers have been difficult to get lately, and the price is... It actually happens every year, but most of the time nobody notices it. Customers never see it.
Right.
In fact, even my customers like you don't ever see it, because usually we just kind of eat it and go on about our business, and then it comes back down. But this year it has been extremely different, and rather than just being like $1 or $2 jump on every order that you get in, it's been $5 to like $7.
Oh, yeah.
So it's quite a drastic jump, and I've only been doing it for about 6 years now. The guys that I've talked to have been here for like 25, 30 years doing it. They say that it's happened before. It doesn't happen very often. I think the last time was sometime in the 80s that it jumped up quite like this. So we are experiencing that, and hopefully we don't experience it again for another 20 years like that. So we'll just kind of see what happens.
Right. They are a commodity. Is what they are. I mean, they're farmed, and sometimes, it's just like same here with corn. If we get bad weather conditions or whatever, then if the corn is scarce and the price goes up. So,
well, and you have to remember, part of being in the bait business is it's not like we can stay late and make more.
Right.
It's not a production. You know, if it's not there, it's not there.
Right. And I'll get that sometimes. Guys, well, Nightcrawler, I wanted you to go dig them up in your yard. Well, I go through about 2,000 worms a week. So
I don't think there's enough out there, right?
My yard would look like a quarry. So
like
I've
a
had people
minefield.
come and ask me that too. Like, well, can I pick some for you? And I'm like, there's no way you could get anywhere near the amount that I need.
Right, exactly. And I've had people do that. They come into the shop. Hey, I can get you this. I can get you that. And it's like, well, how much can you get me? Well, I can get you. I said I need like 300 or 400 pounds.
Exactly.
2 pounds don't do it.
Right. I mean, that's fine for like an individual person to go out and use on their own.
Right.
Whatever. But for us to turn around and try to sell it, that really doesn't come out to too much.
No, absolutely not. But anyway, the worms that we do get, and like I said, I've switched to you in the last couple of years. I had a bait supplier before you, and no problems there. But your Nightcrawlers they're almost like baby garter snakes. I mean, they're nice and juicy and thick and huge.
There's I really like, there's times when the trucks come in, we get these big reefer trailers full of worms that come down from Canada, and we unload them into our cooler. And so we literally look at each flat as it comes off of the truck, and if there's ones that we don't think look good or don't think that there's enough in them, because you can kind of tell by the feel how many there are, we reject them, and then they end up actually going to somebody else. So they're actually all looked at before we even take them all. So we try to keep the quality of them up as best as we can. When it gets to be like this right now, we kind of have to just take what we get.
Right, absolutely.
They're still a good sized worm.
Oh yeah.
You might get a couple scragglers here and there.
And that's true with that goes with owning a bait business. We have to look at that these things are transported from there to you, to me. So, and it is live bait, and we have to do the same thing with the minnows and the salamanders and stuff like that.
Yep.
So not only do you have to try to forecast the weather, forecast your business, forecast what you did last week.
You didn't get your crystal ball when you started selling bait?
It hasn't come yet.
I'm waiting for mine too.
I'm still waiting for it. So, and then there you go. So you might have 4 days of heat, or you might have 4 days of solid rain. And me, I always try to make sure I got enough bait on hand for what I think will happen, but not so much that it starts tanking on you.
Exactly.
And that's the complaint I get from these other places where they buy worms where they stock them up for a month.
Right.
Well, by the time they get to them, they're dead.
Exactly.
And all that. So,
or they're weak and skinny because they've lost. Worms actually are just like a lot of moisture in them.
Right.
And so if they're not, in that, and that's part of the reason why we're having a hard time getting worms right now. The winter, basically, the frost usually goes about 2-3 feet down in, or whatever it is. And they said that it went down about 5.5 feet deep this year up in Canada or wherever it was. And so it sucked all the nutrients out of the land. And so the worms either died or they went elsewhere. And so it's the same thing that happens if you leave them too long. They're in this dirt. They suck all the nutrients out of it. Then they don't have anything else, and they're just stuck there.
Right.
So they're going to die as well. But, yeah, the biggest thing that's raising the prices of worms is the fact that during the spring, when it took so long for this ground to thaw out, there was no worms. So the worm companies usually during spring are selling what they've collected over the fall and saved all winter, so that during the spring they're selling their winter worms, but they're building up a stock of worms so that when everything hits, well, it changes every year. It could be March one year, it could be May another, it could be June. So when it hits, they've already got a big supply of worms to just go. And then they're just replenishing what they've got stocked up. They couldn't build that initial stock over the spring because there wasn't any worms. So it's kind of like, the way I look at it, is kind of like living paycheck to paycheck right now. You don't have anything saved up. You're just, you pick now so you can get them out. And then you just keep going. And so the amount of worms aren't there to keep up with what everybody needs right now.
Right, yeah, it's definitely, it's supply and demand. It's just the way it goes. And like I said, usually we get back to the dirt and the nutrients and all that good stuff. Usually, like when I get my flats from you guys, I pack it into the Fat and Sassy, which is a kind of like a paper breading. Yeah, it's a paper breading for it's a
Don't
bedding.
Eat the worms.
Bedding. Don't eat the worms.
No.
Well, unless they're in a bottle of tequila.
Yeah, you can have that one if you want it.
There you go. But and I believe that people ask me, well, why don't you just leave them packing dirt? Well, the paper, I think it has nutrients mixed in with it, correct?
It does. It does.
And I've noticed if I've had worms that been in there like 4 or 5 days packed in that bedding, they do get a little bit fluffier and a little bit bigger, and it's noticeable. And plus, when you're fishing, then you don't have to worry about getting a bunch of mud all over your hands.
That's
and stuff
the
like
biggest thing that I think is people in boats, they don't want that black dirt in their boats. It gets dirty. It gets into the carpet.
Right,
I don't know. Is there carpet in boats sometimes? Somebody said that once. I don't know.
Not mine.
I have no idea.
Maybe moss.
That'd be but messy. But
anyway, I can't see it for all the beer cans on the floor of it, so I don't know.
Yeah, so they just don't like that all in their boats.
No,
but yeah, it does make them a little bit fatter. You actually don't want to leave them in Fat and Sassy for too long, because they can suck all that out of there, and then they just the same thing with dirt. They still suck it all out. So.
Yeah, usually we just, like I said, we just forecast what we need, and I only make up about depending on what day it is, we might make only up like 30 dozen a head.
Yeah.
And then we just continually make them up as we go along.
Yep, that's the best way.
Yeah, and then nobody's complained about my worms, and they're fat and they're happy, and so are the worms.
Yep.
So
yeah.
So anyway, we've been talking with Melissa Klein up here. She's one of my distributors up there in Rock Rapids. I think you guys got a website up, don't you, my dear?
We do. It's kleinscornerinc.com, and corners with a K.
Yep. And she's also on Facebook.
Yep, yeah, we're on Facebook too, yeah.
So,
like us on Facebook.
So if all this bait talk has got your wheels spinning and you go, man, I'm going to get into the easy life of open me a bait shop, I will call Kleins and get started tomorrow.
Yes, give me a call. I'll give you all the information. And wait for your crystal ball to show up in the mail.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know how many guys I get that come into the shop and they say that, hey, man, I was thinking about opening up a bait shop myself. I said, really? I said, you like to fish? And they said, yeah. Well, this ain't the business for you, brother. Let me tell you
You don't get to go fishing. I never get to go fishing.
Yeah, yeah. You know,
live
that's
here.
the thing. That's why I said with the bait, you know, guys come in. Sometimes they complain a little bit. You know, it's like you just bought $4 worth of bait. I usually buy about $500 worth of bait a week, and I never get to fish with it as much.
Exactly.
So,
The people, I'm like, I have to go off of what my regular guys come in and tell me because there should be a cot in the back. I'm pretty sure that I live here.
yeah, well, that's the bait business in the summertime. You know, we get about 3 hours of sleep, and it's from 6 a.m. till 7 p.m. And then there's always somebody that says, "Well, why didn't you open a little earlier? Why didn't you open a little later?"
Because I can't keep everybody happy.
Right. You know, I guess they're right. There's nothing I do between 10 and 4 a.m. but sleep anyway, so.
Who needs sleep?
Just sit around.
All right, Melissa, I appreciate you coming on today and talking with us.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, make sure you check out my good pal, Melissa Klein, Klein's Corners. Like I said, she's on Facebook. You can usually get her on my Facebook page. She's always chiming into how hilarious I am and everything I do. All right, thank you, Melissa. You have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
All right, see ya. Hey, we're going to slide to commercial break, and we'll be right back.
The place where he was born and raised.
Sounds like a place to fish or biting down at the bottoms. This is Randy Brewer from the Outback Bait and Tackle Shop. When you're ready to go fishing, to hit the river and local fishing holes, come and see me. I've been fishing our local areas for over 40 years. I'll be able to set you up with the right bait and tackle for our fishing holes in the area. I'll even throw in some of my experienced fishing advice. So before you head out to your fishing hole, come see me at the RB's Outback Bait and Tackle, located 16114 County Road X61 here in Muscatine. Call me at 563-506-0490. Sign says 9 to 5. Call anytime after. We'll get your bait.
Did you know Hy-Vee Home Medical is the best place for your CPAP machine and supplies? Cheryl Sell has over 20 years of sleep apnea and CPAP experience, and she's ready to help you pick out the perfect mask. Don't lose sleep over it. Stop by and talk to Cheryl, whom some have called the CPAP Queen. There are many new masks on the market, and you may not know what you've been missing. Stop in today to see Cheryl and the crew at Hy-Vee Home Medical, 5th and Mulberry, downtown Muscatine.
We stand for people, progress and pride. Iowa Farm Bureau's by your side.
Big data, drones, and other fast-evolving technologies are just around the corner. How will they impact your farm? New federal government programs and changing land values. What does it mean for you? Are you prepared? Iowa Farm Bureau's 2014 Economic Summit will explore these questions and more during this two-day event moderated by Mike Pearson and packed with leading national experts such as David Opadahl from the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago and national drone expert Kevin Price. Learn how emerging market drivers may impact agriculture, as well as risks and opportunities in farmland and the long-term outlook for weather, crops, and livestock. Reduce your risk and register today. Join us on July 21st and 22nd at the Sheeman Center at Iowa State University. Pre-registration is $50 for Farm Bureau members and $150 for non-members. To register, visit iowafarmbureau.com.
Let the Sicilian Pizzeria of Wilton treat your family to dinner tonight. Their dough is made fresh every day with only the freshest ingredients, so you're guaranteed to taste the difference. Offering classic specialty pizzas like Sammy the Bull, the Palermo, the Gladiator, the German, the Viagra, and many more. Try one of their killer subs, calzones, or pasta dishes if you're looking for something different. Make sure you start your meal off with one of their mouth-watering appetizers, Asiago tomatoes, cheesy garlic bread, or their famous seafood bruschetta. Call the Sicilian Pizzeria in Wilton for pickup or delivery today. 563-732-9396. Open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m.
This is Havana, Montana, and you're listening to Jerry's Bait and Tackle Outdoor Show on KWPC. And you better keep listening, man, or you'll have to say hello to my little friends.
Yeah, there's that out-of-tune guitar.
I could have wrote that.
Yeah.
I wanna go home.
And you know who sang this song?
I know who sang it.
And
I didn't have to look at it.
You didn't have to look at it at all?
No. You ever hear the version of Ben Calder?
Been colder?
Yeah. That's Sheb Woolley's alter ego. You got to look it up sometime.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Now you made sense. That's Flying Purple People Eater.
Yep.
And you looked at me nervously as I was saying that on the radio.
No.
Flying Purple People Eater.
Yep.
15 times in a row. But hey, anyway, Havana, Montana is taking a little siesta this week. He called me this morning. He's I believe he said spending time or doing time, one of the two.
I don't know. The way the river's been backing up, I wonder what he's been doing with the plumbing down there.
I have no idea.
Whoa.
I have no idea. But hey, make sure you check us out on Facebook at Jerry's Bait and Tackle Outdoor Show. Like us, don't like us. Or you can check us out on the website, jerrysbaitandtackle.webs.com. Chef Kathy's on there, Chef Catherine's on there, and Havana, Montana's on there as well. What we try to do is try to do the fishing reports. We'll put updates on there. Havana put some funny stuff on there. I try to put some funny stuff on there. But anyway, last week, I got to apologize. We didn't get to her, but by God, this week we are. Let's go ahead and roll it, my friend. Time for Captain Katie. She's back in port. Call now at 563-263-8600. You're the first caller. You can win something out of Captain Katie's tackle box. That's much better.
Oh, no. You're lucky this isn't television.
Whatever happened to the village people? Are they just the village person now? Or?
Yeah, I think so.
Who do we got on the phone with us this morning?
Why, this is Dan here.
Hey, Dan, how you doing, buddy boy?
Hey, been fishing.
Yeah, you said you were doing pretty good down there at Big Hollow, weren't you?
Yesterday was up at the Coralville Dam at the tail race. The crappies were in real good.
Oh, yeah? Good. Is it really flowing through there? Can you get in there?
Well, they had it lowered down, but I think they plan on bringing it back up. So it's kind of hit or miss. If you check the Corps Engineers website, they usually tell you what they're doing with it.
Right. Yeah, they try to keep it around that 683 mark. From what I read here, 701 is what they're predicting it to crest at on 7-4 on the 4th of July. So,
well, when you go to the dam, you take your chances, but that's where the fish want to go, up there where that oxygenated water is.
Right. And how deep of a water were you picking them up in?
Oh, I suppose it was a couple feet deep, but there's a lot of rock structure in there, and once you pick through that and lose a few jigs, you'll learn where they're at. But they hide behind those rocks in there.
Yeah.
They were biting rather well yesterday. I think it took an hour to get 20 of them.
Yeah, I think I called you on a Sunday morning there, and you said you and your wife were down there at Big Hollow, and you were doing pretty good.
Yeah, we brought home 32 with 4 nice crappie and the rest bluegills, but that's a nice lake.
Yeah. Now, usually this time of year, don't they usually have their algae bloom going on? Have you noticed that happening?
Well, it hasn't happened yet, but I imagine it will be here soon. Everything was kind of late this year with the warm-up and such. But,
right.
It's good fishing.
Did you notice I reported last week that they were supposed to put in a cleaning station. Did that happen?
Yeah, there is a cleaning station there. But it's out on the dock where everybody's loading and unloading. It's kind of a crowded little spot.
Yeah, that'd probably be a bad spot to have.
You got to be patient.
Right.
They had a bass tournament going on there last weekend, but we managed to get in and out of there before it got crazy.
Yeah. Well, where are you headed out this weekend?
Probably hit Big Hollow again.
Right, hit by Big Hollow. You gonna do that on Sunday morning again?
Yeah.
Doesn't that interfere with your church?
Well, I go to the Church of the Woods.
Church of the Woods. I thought you were going to say you hit it on Saturday night, but a lie's a lie. We'll take it anyway. So anyway, if you guys haven't recognized his voice, this is Dan from Tag Along Outdoors. He owns the boat guide service here. Why don't you shout your phone number out, Dan, if somebody wants to take your boat out?
Yeah, Jerry, my number is 563-571-1306. And the lakes are doing good right now. Forget the river. There's too many things floating in it.
Yep. Yeah. I don't even think you can get it. You can get in anywhere if you wanted to. So, all right, Dan. I'm going to tell you what. We're going to slide into a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jerry.
See you, Dan.
Wilton, treat your family to dinner tonight. Their dough is made fresh every day with only the freshest ingredients, so you're guaranteed to taste the difference. Offering classic specialty pizzas like Sammy the Bull, the Palermo, the Gladiator, the German, the Viagra, and many more. Try one of their killer subs, calzones, or pasta dishes if you're looking for something different. Make sure you start your meal off with one of their mouth-watering appetizers, Asiago tomatoes, cheesy garlic bread, or their famous seafood bruschetta. Call the Sicilian Pizzeria in Wilton for pickup or delivery today. 563-732-9396. Open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Injuries and joint problems are a pain. That's why at Unity Point Health, we've come up with a new approach to care for our patients. We're coordinating care with our Unity Point Clinic orthopedic doctors, so we work as a team, from the first exam in your doctor's office right through your rehab at home. This helps you recover faster with less pain to get you back on track. Unity Point Health, Trinity Muscatine. For an orthopedics appointment, call 563-264-9185.
Hi, friends. It's Brian Lloyd inviting you to the 2014 Mercer County Fair, July 6th through the 12th in Aledo, Illinois. We're one of the only fairs that still has harness racing. It'll be the Sunday before the actual fair starts. We have no events on Monday. The fair actually starts Tuesday the 8th through the 12th. On Wednesday is the Kids' Day. For $20, they can ride rides till 4 p.m. We have the Night of Destruction on Wednesday, which features trailer races and school bus demolition derby. Tractor pull will be on Friday, demolition derby on Saturday night. Carnival rides, tons of food, ice cold beer. Come out to our fair. If you need more information, go to our website, mercercountyfair.org. Look forward to seeing you at the fair this year.
The place where he was born and
Sounds like a place to fish or baiting down at the bottoms. This is Randy Brewer from the Outback Bait and Tackle Shop. When you're ready to go fishing, to hit the river and local fishing holes, come and see me. I've been fishing our local areas for over 40 years. I'll be able to set you up with the right bait and tackle for our fishing holes in the area. I'll even throw in some of my experienced fishing advice. So before you head out to your fishing hole, come see me at the RB's Outback Bait and Tackle, located 16114 County Road X61 here in Muscatine. Call me at 563-506-0490. Sign says 9 to 5. Call anytime after. We'll get your bait.
Hello, this is Havana, Montana for the Jerry's Outdoor Show. You want to know how to catch a albino blue marlin? Well, just keep listening, man. Okay.
Juggle-up.
You know what? There's some of these songs I had just completely forgot about. You know, my mom used to play these records.
I know what a record is.
Right. You used to play the 45s. Remember, you'd have like a half a stack of 45s on there.
That was our playlist.
Yep. And it would drop. Yeah, it's a kind of a different day and age, ain't it? You guys don't. Imagine, were you in on the radio business when you had to queue up albums and all that stuff, and somebody make an off-the-wall request, and you'd have to figure out where it was and find it? And
mostly some of the DJ stuff I did back in the day, but it was live. It wasn't on the radio.
Right. So.
Ruined many a good album doing that.
Well, that's because you're doing...
No, I didn't do that
No,
stuff.
you didn't do that? That's what I thought DJs did. So.
That's one of those ghetto DJs, you know, They don't realize they have to let go of the record for it to spin, so they try making it, and this doesn't work out. And then most of them have that. They have that some sort of breathing difficulty. It's not like they're hyperventilating. Like they just got done running the track.
Oh man, that's beatboxing. Don't you diss on that? Man, I might put some beatboxing on next week. That's an art form. That is
it is.
That is a acquired taste.
Being serious though, that takes talent to do that.
Yeah. Well, who was the guy that made that? Was it McFarlane? Not McFarlane. That's Family Guy. Oh, be happy. Do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
McFadden.
Yeah, something like that.
I can't think what his first name is. Don't worry, be happy.
Hey, that's the way it goes. And speaking of being happy, let's do a little happiness right now and put something in our belly.
It's time for Cooking Louisiana Style with Chef Catherine.
Good morning, my dear. Are you there?
Hello, Jerry.
How are you doing, madame?
Good. So how are things in Iowa?
A little wet.
A little wet. Well, it's a little wet here, too, in Louisiana.
Oh, I imagine so.
Today, hopefully no hurricanes are coming through.
Hey, my dear, I tried in vain this week to contact the good folks at Slap Your Mama down there. And they have a little bit of difficulty with this thing called an email. I've sent my address to them like 3 or 4 times, and I've talked to 5 nice women down there. I've talked about 4 or 5 different ones, and Sue will blame it off on Nancy, and Nancy will blame it off on Jen, but still I have not received anything from Slap Your Mama. But I am working on it.
Well, if you get a Boudreaux involved in there somewhere, there's a breakdown. So
I guess so.
Okay, so today on Cooking Louisiana Style, we're going to make a catfish etoufee.
Etoufee?
Yes. Now, in Louisiana, we usually use crawfish for that, but it tastes good either way. And I'm going to post the instructions on your Facebook page as well as my own. So what etoufee means is smothered.
Sounds like a toupee.
Yes. So we're going to smother ourselves some catfish. So first we'll make a roux, believe it or not, and with about 3 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of flour. And when that reaches a caramel brown color, we're going to add a cup of chopped onion, half a cup of chopped celery, and a half a cup of chopped bell pepper. And that, of course, is our Holy Trinity. And to that, we'll add 3 cloves of minced garlic, and then we want to season that real good with some of that Slap Your Mama seasoning we'll be getting up there soon. And we'll have that available there in Wilton, right?
Soon, hopefully.
Okay. So if not, I will make sure that it gets up there myself.
Oh, thank you, my dear.
At this point, you want to add your stock, and it can be either a seafood or chicken stock, depending on what you like. So you'd add about 1 1/4 cup of that. And to this, you can add a bay leaf, a sprig of thyme, a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce like we did last week, and a can of Rotel diced tomatoes. So you want to bring this to a boil, and then you'll let it simmer for 30 minutes. So while it's cooking, I'm going to tell you a story about old Boudreaux.
Attention now, folks.
Yes, I'll try to be slow this time.
Okay.
So, old Boudreaux, he owned a large farm, and for several years, and on this farm, he had this huge catfish pond. And he fixed the pond up really nice, and he put out some picnic tables and a barbecue area, and he had all these fruit trees out there. And one evening, Boudreaux decided to go down to the pond and have it a look over. And so he grabbed his 5-gallon bucket, you know, those big buckets, to bring back some fruit. And when he got nearer to his pond, he started hearing like some giggling and laughing. And when he got closer, he saw several young women were skinny dipping in his pond. Now, as soon as they saw Boudreaux, they all scrambled to the deep end of the pond. And one of the women was angry, and she shouted, "We're not coming out until you leave."
That's what I get told a lot at the swimming pool. I don't know about Jerry.
So, with a big old smile, he was holding up that bucket, that big old 5-gallon bucket, and Boudreaux said, "I didn't come here to watch you ladies swim naked. I'm just here to feed the alligator." Okay.
You get it?
They don't bump.
The women would come out of the
That's how they do it in Louisiana.
Yep.
So you can add a pound of catfish to this nice, etouffee that's been cooking a while. And you'll cut that catfish about a pound in bite-sized pieces. And you'll cook that for about 15 to 20 minutes until it's cooked through. And then after the seafood is cooked through, I will serve it in a bowl with rice, like we did our gumbo. And you'll garnish it with some chopped green onion and maybe some fresh parsley. As a matter of fact, it tastes so good,
Slap your mama.
That's right. And I'll teach some people in Iowa how to talk. It makes you want to slap your mama. So,
She's never met my mama.
Brulee, let the good times roll. And that's it for Chef Catherine today.
All right. Thank you, Chef Catherine. Hey, when's the next time you're going to be up here towards Iowa?
Ooh, I'm hoping to do some. I heard at Halloween time.
Halloween
that
time?
That is really beautiful up there.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. Then it's also a little can be a little cool. But what I thought about doing if you're ever up here up this way, maybe we'll have you. We'll set you up in the parking lot out here, and you can cook some of this fantastic stuff, and the people can stop out here and
we'll do it live in the parking lot.
Ooh, I can see doing a nice jambalaya.
There we go. That works for me.
Yeah.
Well, anything cooked for us works for me.
I mean, you just have to cook for maybe 7-8 people. I mean, that's that. Well, let's be nice. 15 people, because you got.
We're going to invite the whole neighborhood. You just don't make a jambalaya for 7 or 8 people. You got to have everybody come along. Yeah.
Well, that's the 7 people in the building, and maybe the other 8 people who are listening.
Way to be selfish, man.
Yeah.
Well, I got more than 100 people listening, at least they're on Facebook with me.
Yep.
And so if there's anyone there in Iowa who have something special they want me to cook next week, just pop me a message or on Jerry's Facebook page. And there's something you want to see me specially cook, then next week is our listener's choice.
Okay, that sounds great. All right, Chef Catherine, we'll see ya.
All right, you have a good day.
You have a good day too, my darling. Hey, with that, we're going to slide into a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Let the Sicilian Pizzeria of Wilton treat your family to dinner tonight. Their dough is made fresh every day with only the freshest ingredients, so you're guaranteed to taste the difference. Offering classic specialty pizzas like Sammy the Bull, the Palermo, the Gladiator, the German, the Viagra, and many more. Try one of their killer subs, calzones, or pasta dishes if you're looking for something different. Make sure you start your meal off with one of their mouth-watering appetizers, Asiago tomatoes, cheesy garlic bread, or their famous seafood bruschetta. Call the Sicilian Pizzeria in Wilton for pickup or delivery today. 563-732-9396. Open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Last night, I signed my first $1 million contract.
My baby made it to the pros.
Yeah, when the house party went on until morning, I made Mom happy by buying everyone McDonald's dollar menu at breakfast.
Not only is he talented, he can spot a wise investment.
When you can afford anything you want, you only buy what you love.
McDonald's Dollar Menu at breakfast. With great tasting options like the Cafe Coffee, sausage burritos, and the sausage McMuffin sandwich, there's something for everyone to love at McDonald's. Prices and participation may vary. So, sir, tell me, why do you think Coke seems to taste so good at McDonald's?
Keep it down. Most think it's because it only costs $1, but I think wow, this is incredibly awesome. I gotta have it in the Coke at McDonald's.
Wow, this is incredibly awesome. I gotta have it?
Shh, that information is classified.
Classified?
Everybody wants to know why Coke seems to taste so good at McDonald's. No matter what the answer is, when any size Coca-Cola, soft drink, or sweet tea is just $1, there's something for everyone to love at McDonald's. Price and participation may vary. A la carte only. Limited time offer.
The place where he was born and raised.
Sounds like a place to fish or biting down at the bottoms. This is Randy Brewer from the Outback Bait and Tackle Shop. When you're ready to go fishing, to hit the river and local fishing holes, come and see me. I've been fishing our local areas for over 40 years. I'll be able to set you up with the right bait and tackle for our fishing holes in the area. I'll even throw in some of my experience fishing advice. So before you head out to your fishing hole, come see me at the RB's Outback Bait and Tackle, located 16114 County Road X61 here in Muscatine. Call me at 563-506-0490. Sign says 9 to 5. Call anytime after. We'll get your bait.
This is Havana, Montana for the Jerry's Outdoor Show. You know what you need to gone and done and do? Keep listening, man, and maybe you'll catch a big albino blue marlin, too.
Do. How appropriate. I was born in Saginaw, Michigan. So, hey, anyway, we got to fly here. We got to clear the way. We got the Sports Stooges on your radio next. We got to spray a little Lysol in here and kind of vacuum a little bit before these guys take the airways. But for Jared Proviance and Dave Stiles, we're going to see you guys all next week. We almost made it all the way through without a blooper. We will see you next week right here on KWPC AM 860, the voice of Muscatine.
Jerry will be back next Friday, right here on the voice of Muscatine, to talk about fishing, life, and even a few jokes. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here next Friday. Jerry's Bait and Tackle Outdoor Show on the voice of Muscatine.
I think I got a big one on the line, Jer.
Gonna need a bigger boat.
But I love to fish.
When severe weather breaks out, we break in with live coverage from NOAA Weather Radio. Live severe weather coverage as it happens 24 hours a day. Another reason to listen to the voice of Muscatine, AM 860 KWPC.